For more on the story, we're joined by our new senior Caucasian correspondent, Jordan Klepper. Jordan, thank you for joining us on the program. We appreciate you doing it. Jordan, welcome to the show, first of all. We're excited to have you. You are in Crimea. Obviously, you have studied this region for years.
Yes, that is 100% true. Okay, as you know, the Crimean Peninsula is ethnically Russian. Mm-hmm. Now, it's important to remember a peninsula is a landmass surrounded on three sides by water, unlike an island or an isthmus. Now, the Crimean Peninsula is dependent on Russia for most of their natural resources.
Actually, they're dependent on the Ukraine for most of their natural resources.
Right. Stupid. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. I'm not going to fail you, Dad. John.
It's all right, Jordan. It's fine.
Okay.
Just relax. How are the people feeling?
They're scared, John. Real scared. A little sweaty.
Because they have ties to both the Ukraine and Russia? Is that?
Sure. I mean, if you'd asked them a week ago, would you like to be a part of Russia? They would have been like, yes, Russia's my favorite. I'd love to join Russia. I watch Russia every night. But now they don't know what they've gotten themselves into, and they think, maybe I've gotten a little bit in over my head.
Look, just say, it's fine. You're doing fine. Stay focused. What have you learned so far today?
You have to dial 9 to get an outside line. Lunch is at 1, and if I keep my head down here for a couple of years, I've got a real shot at my own sitcom on NBC. You were talking about Crimea,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm blowing it!
No, you're not blowing it. Everything's fine. You're in Crimea.
Yes.
Now, obviously, it's daybreak there.
Oh, actually, I'm going to stop you there, John. It's 6:15 at night. Although, obviously, we are pretending it's 11:15, which in Crimea is 6:15 in the morning, where I'm supposed to be. Dad, I am so sorry.
No,
I'm
you're not.
so sorry.
You're not. You're doing great.
Okay.
There's almost nothing you can do to mess up one of these reports. Trust me.
Thank you. That's. Oh. I mean, this is kind of a big deal for me, John. This means a lot to me. And my parents are watching at home. So, stay clean and sober, Jordan. And that record will get expunged. Just keep to it. Work hard.
Think you could go back to Crimea, or is that?
Yes. You got it, boss. Yes. Live from Crimea.
Jordan Klepper, everybody. We'll be right back. Jordan Klepper.
I remember my first night on the show. It was wild. I auditioned on, I think, a Friday, and they told me, come back 4 days later with a suit. Because they had no money to pay for the suits. And luckily, I had one suit because I had gotten married a few months earlier, and I came back with a suit, and the day was bonkers. I arrived, and oddly enough, it was the day Crimea was invaded. And I know, we actually know where that place is now. Because I didn't that morning, and I showed up, and I went to this morning meeting, which is an amazing thing at The Daily Show. So many funny, thoughtful people in a room, and I get thrown in there, and it's such a welcoming place. And there's Jon Stewart, somebody I've watched since I was very little. He's very old and decrepit. Also very short, small man, wise beyond his years, but many years. And we were talking about Crimea and all of these things, and they're like, Jordan, you're going to do a chat. You're going to do that tonight? We're going to talk about this? Let's go. And you brainstorm some ideas for the chat. And remember, they bring me into John's office, like, right after the meeting. And I'm very nervous. I don't know how this day works. And we sit down, and Jon starts talking about not only what happened, but essentially he's talking about the commentary that's been written in the morning about what already happened in that room. And I'm sitting across from him with a few other people. Jen Flans is over there right now, EP showrunner. She's in that room as well. She's the best. And there's a reason these shows can still run like they do with a different host every week, and it's because of the team that we have here at The Daily Show. And I remember he's talking about all these things with Crimea, and I just keep thinking, I don't know where Crimea is. I don't know. And then we usher off and we brainstorm jokes and bits around the Crimea invasion. And it's fun. It's a wild day. The chat comes up and you go into a rewrite right before you come on out there, and you go one last time over it. And the process for a chat, essentially the idea of this chat was Jon is throwing to their first-time correspondent who's in Crimea, and he's overwhelmed by the experience. Truth and comedy, it's always the best way to go. And I remember in the rewrite, you're in this small room, and you're throwing jokes out there, and Jon opened up of like, how would you react here? And I said, I'd say like, I don't want to disappoint you, Dad. And it made him laugh, because that's how I was feeling in that room at that moment. I don't want to disappoint you, Dad. And he was like, that's good. I'm like, that was the first joke I got on the show. And he was like, all right, we ready to do this? And you don't waste time at the Daily Show. When you like print the script, it's like, great, we're on in 20 minutes. And so he comes out, I go back, my brain is spinning. I've been doing comedy and entertainment for 15 years, but never had a break anywhere near this. Been living in poverty up until this point. I'm like, holy shit, I'm on the Daily Show. I'm about to be on the Daily Show. I'm looking through the script. Jon comes out. I'm right back there, and I'm looking through the script. He says, like, we have something special happening today. We have a new correspondent. We don't have that very often. I'm getting nervous, and Born to Run starts to play, which was the song he always played before he came out. And then he's like, you guys ready for a good show? And they say yes. He says, welcome to the Daily Show. And he runs back, and we just had this little one-on-one moment. He just says, don't fuck it up. And I remember, like, he came back out there, and right back there, like, tears. Because it was so much. This industry, it's hard, it's tough, and you're rarely in such supportive rooms like this. And for every break that you get, 10 other people don't get it who are worthy of that exact same break. And in that moment, I was like, there's so much emotion right now in this space. And I remember, like, tears. I'm like, you can't cry, you're on TV in 3 minutes. Pulling it all together, coming on out, and nervously doing my first chat from right over there. So to get a chance to be here on a day like today with you guys and share that, it's real special. Thank you.